I'm the governor of Florida. I'm not the commander-in-chief, but if my responsibilities were different, that would not be something that we would allow to be happening. I think it's really concerning. I think that under this administration, they've put out a posture of weakness that has invited more aggressive actions from our adversaries. Now, Russia, this isn't their first foray into the Western Hemisphere, obviously, if you look through history, but I think the amount of activity amongst hostile nations in our own hemisphere is probably at a level that we have not seen in many, many years. And if you look at how the governments of this hemisphere are constituted now, most of them are more aligned with the Russias and the Chinas, unfortunately, than with the United States and the free world. And so I think it is problematic. I think that history has shown that these bad actors, they respond to strength, and they're deterred by strength. They are not going to be deterred by weakness. They're not going to be deterred by confusion. They're not going to be deterred by a president wandering around aimlessly at the G7. They're going to be deterred because they know that that's not somebody that you want to mess with. So we're failing as a country with the deterrent capability, and I think it starts at the top with the President of the United States.
Governor, the media has said that because you don't say climate change, that you are responsible for flooding. And are you responsible for the sun?
Well, here's the thing about it. I mean, I think some of this is really some of it's just very political in the sense of our energy bill that we did. It wasn't about saying or not saying climate change. It was a substantive piece of legislation to say that in the state of Florida, our energy policy is going to be driven by affordability for Floridians and reliability, especially, Invest 90L, compared to a Category 3, much less disruption than what you could have happened. We need to get the lights back on. We don't want our energy policy driven by climate ideology. When that happens, people pay more and the energy is less reliable. You don't believe me? Look at California. Look at some of the places that have tried this. So it's a substantive policy position about what's in the best interest of the state of Florida. Regardless of what you choose in that, it isn't going to prevent us from having tropical weather during tropical season. That's just baked in the cake. But we have definitely said affordability for Floridians is important. We want low energy costs. And that means you got to utilize things like natural gas. And we also want to make sure that when we have disruptions because of a hurricane, that we get the lights back on for people very quickly. We had the Category 5 in 2022 hit Southwest Florida, Hurricane Ian, and it was the fastest restoration of power for millions of people that we have ever had in the history of major hurricanes. And part of that is because we staged 45,000 linemen from out of state ready to go. We put a premium on it. But part of it is because we're really rooted in having reliable energy. Some of the states that have tried to force mandates for wind or some of these other things, you have blackouts. You have periods where it's not working. We cannot have that. Can you imagine if you had an energy policy that was facilitating or incentivizing some of these blackouts, rolling blackouts like you've seen in California, like in August in South Florida, and you don't have access to AC and stuff, it would be devastating. So this is not about saying this or saying that. It's about what policies do you think are in the best interest of the state of Florida. And I have no doubt making sure energy is attainable and affordable for people is very important. We have to battle the federal government on that because they want people to pay more to support their agenda. And then making sure we have reliable energy. Because if you don't have reliable energy, you end up in big problems. So my issue with the climate ideology is it's discussed and they use these catchphrases, but the policies that actually reflect that have proven to be very damaging and very harmful for people, not just in places where it's been tried here, but in other parts of the world. So we want to make sure that we're standing up for people's ability to access energy affordably and then make sure that it's reliable. Okay, well, hopefully we will have a Stanley Cup delivered to South Florida this weekend. And if they end up having to come back and play another game down here, I know that'll be a great environment, and I think that things look very well. So thank you.